This is the Modern Architect radio show and podcast. The Modern Architect features one-on-one interviews with renowned and cutting-edge architects, influencers, and sustainability leaders. Our show informs and illuminates the transformation that architecture brings to our cities, communities, and lives. And now, introducing the host of The Modern Architect, Tom Dioro.
Today, we're honored to be joined by Rick Viczorek, Council Member, District 2. Rick was first elected to the Dana Point City Council on November 4th, 2014, and served as the city's mayor in 2018. Rick was re-elected to the City Council in November of 2018 and served his second term as mayor in 2020. Rick graduated from UCLA with a degree in political science and earned his law degree from Santa Clara University School of Law, and after several years as an attorney in private practice, Rick joined the United States Marine Corps and served 2 tours on active duty. For more information, feel free to visit the website of danapoint.org. Again, that's danapoint.org. Today's episode is made possible by Modeler, the rapidly growing community for AEC professionals to find and share design inspiration. Created and maintained by architects, join hundreds of thousands of other AEC professionals who are part of the Modeler community. Visit modeler.com and follow Modeler on your favorite social media channels for regular design inspiration. Hello, Rick. We're honored and real fired up to have you on the show today. Thank you very much for being here.
Well, thanks so much for having me, Tom. I really appreciate it.
Oh, this is great. You know, Rick, I have maybe a strange or a different fascination. Is I like really good governance. Although I'm not involved, maybe at least right now, in any civics at all, I really value the importance of good governance and what it does for an entire community and city. How have you done so well with Dana Point? I mean, I don't even know where to begin with, because it's such a great place to be at all times, and I know that just doesn't happen.
Well, I appreciate that question, because I like you, appreciate good governance, and I strive to achieve that here as a city council member with Dana Point. You know, going back, you mentioned that I went to UCLA. I was a political science major there, so I've been interested in government for quite some time, and I know that, you know, if government is doing something wrong, people will notice. And so the best thing to do is try to have government do well, and so that people can live their lives and, you know, pursue their happiness without having to worry about what is the government doing wrong all the time.
Is that something that going to UCLA instilled in you, or is that something that's always been a part of you?
Well, you know, it's hard to describe if it came from UCLA. I certainly think that what I learned at UCLA was fantastic, and it really helped me understand good governance. But I do admit I was interested in politics and government before I went to UCLA, so I think I started developing that sort of at an earlier age. But it does help to have studied and you know, try to put some of the theories and philosophies into practice, which I think is what we've done here in Dana Point.
We talked to the previous show almost a little over a year ago, and you talked about how important a community being safe is. Can you share with your audience today why feeling safe and being safe is important to a city?
Certainly. I mean, I think that's the number one priority. I think, you know, if you don't have that safety and feeling that you're safe in your homes, you're safe to go out and interact with other people, you're not safe to go to the store, you're not safe to live your life, that really, the reason it's so important to have that safety is that it allows you to pursue your happiness, which is what I was talking about earlier, which ultimately, when you go back to, and I apologize if I'm getting a little philosophical and political science but you know, when you think about the founders and the pursuit of happiness, you know, why are we here? What is the purpose of government? And it's not to direct our lives and how we live them, but rather to try to provide the conditions so that we as Americans can live the best lives that we can. And one of the responsibilities of the government is to provide for the the health and welfare and the safety of the population.
The growth of Dana Point and how well it's grown. Of course, I'm biased because I'm an architect aficionado, so I'm always looking at this physical space and the design and the landscaping. I don't even know where to begin with it. How has it been so well done? And it sounds like, oh, come on, get off it. It's like, no, I'm being serious. If everyone's you're free to look at the Dana Point website. It's amazing how the growth has been so, I'll use the word balanced. I don't know if anybody said that, but it feels like there's just a balance with it. It's not just overblown or extravagant, but there's just a balance with the community and the city.
I think what we have here is a real special community. We are a small town. We have about 33,000 people in town. The city is only geographically covers about 6.5 square miles. So it really does have a small town feel here on the Southern California coast. We are a beach town, so we do have a part of our community that has lived here for decades and really enjoys the small town beach vibe. But we also are a sort of a bedroom community. We're located halfway between LA and San Diego. And, it's a great place to raise families. And so we do have a section of our community that is younger and perhaps newer to town, and that are looking to move forward and keep the city moving forward. So I think when you balance the people that have been here for decades with the new arrivals and the attitude that we really want to keep the city moving in the right direction, it keeps it balanced, as you mentioned. So it doesn't go too far in one direction or the other. And we've really been fortunate that our community can come together and reach these decisions as a community that leads to the development, as you said, that is in a balanced manner.
Yeah. How is it that historical, the beginnings of Dana Point and where it is today, going down close to 2022, been able to kind of weave the fabric, so to speak, and to keep it still authentic and still have a sense of place?
I think it's one, recognizing that we want to do that. And so, again, I speak to you as an elected representative. And so one of the things that is important from the leadership position is to listen to the community. And, the idea is when you get elected, you don't come in saying, this is what I want to do, and I am going to force it on the people. Rather, you need to be responsive to the people. You are a representative of the people. So, and again, we have a great small town atmosphere. We have people that come to the city council meetings and speak their mind, which they should, and let us know the positions that they have. And again, it's people that have lived here for 10, 15, 30 years, decades, coming in talking about the Dana Point that they knew and that the great things about it, why they came here all those years ago or were born here all those years ago and want to preserve, as well as, of course, always trying to move forward into the 21st century and stay modern. No city, I think, can survive if it's not progressing. So I think, again, it's just been, it gives us a real unique sense of place, as you said, when we combine the beach feel with the newness and the people that are looking to move the city into the future.
It's outstanding. It's also the Modern Architect radio show and podcast at KZSU Stanford 90.1 FM. We're talking today with Richard Viczorek, Council Member District 2 in Dana Point. For more information, feel free to visit their website at danapoint.org. Again, that's danapoint.org. Rick, this is a perspective I have, and some folks agree, some don't. But I look at elected officials as they're in a position to serve, and there's also knowing that it actually naturally gives them a position of leading, to be an example for a community. What's your take on that?
Well, I think you said it about as well as it can be said. I mean, the reality is that, again, in a small town, the people who run for office, we're not famous, we're not necessarily rich, all the things that you might think of in national politics. I mean, the people that are in these positions, the people I serve with on the city council, and even the people that work as the city staff, we're just your friends and your neighbors. And because we live here in town, we want what is best for the city. We want what everyone else wants for their family and, for the city. So what that leads to is, it's not just, hey, I'm the mayor or I'm the city councilman and that's my job. We have city council members that participate in so many other things, and it could be artistic endeavors, or it could be coaching local sports teams, or volunteering time with churches or food banks, or any of those number of things that the people who are in these positions of government are also just like everyone else, and are showing how to make the community better by, I think, leading by example is what you said. But again, being a small town, it really does lend itself to that kind of behavior by the city employees and the city council.
If you're at liberty to share with us, I'd love to hear, are there any other cities, whether they're in California, let's say specifically California, that are looking to you to say, how do you run as effective of a government, a city as well as you do? Or is there a style? Is there a culture? Is there a formula that you take action on to keep it and maintain it and grow it?
That's a great question. I'm not going to name any other cities. I don't want to make it appear that there are any other cities by naming them that don't think they are doing well. But I do know that we are in constant communication with other cities, specifically, starting locally here in Orange County. But we're always looking at what other cities are doing. Not only are they looking at us, but admittedly, we look at other cities as well, and we're looking for best practices and what can be improved upon. We don't think we're perfect. We think we're pretty close, but we are always looking to improve and get better. And so I know that there is open dialogue, and it's usually at the staff level, where it might be really at the highest levels of the staff, where there are communications between the various cities on what is it that we're doing here, and how are you getting things right. And of course, we're always looking to improve ourselves.
There's a quote that you had said in our last show a little over a year ago, that if you're not moving forward, what are you doing? Can you share that again?
Well, I don't actually recall exactly what it was, but I do. I do think that. People always say, like a shark, if it's not moving forward, it's going to die. Okay. But it's something along those lines is what the thought is. If the city is not moving forward, then what is the city doing? Is it dying? And we certainly don't want the city. That means you're going in the wrong direction. And we are not going in the wrong direction. We are going in the right direction. So we are moving forward, and we have that attitude that you need to constantly look to the future and grow, while still trying to honor and maintain the heritage that we have as a small beach town.
I wasn't planning on bringing this up, Rick, but I'm going to say, for full disclosure for your audience today, that Rick and I are both from the city of San Mateo, California. And I'll ask you, Rick, we talked a little bit before we got on the broadcast here. What is it about growing up in San Mateo that actually that you still may draw from in your serving the community of Dana Point?
I didn't know how I was going to work San Mateo into this.
I didn't either. I had no plan.
I was looking into it, but it is true. Tom and I did grow up in the same town, and the answer to the question is, I feel lucky and blessed to have grown up in San Mateo, and it had a culture of achievement and competition and all the things that I think lead to success, and that if you're growing up there and you are given the expectations of how you should behave and how you should achieve that success, then I think you take it into the other things that you do. I think that we have that here in Dana Point. One of the reasons that we are such a great city is, again, not the city council, not the leadership. It's the people that live here that make this the city that it is. And I see a lot of those great similarities and the things that I think you agree, that made San Mateo such a great place to grow up, also makes Dana Point such a great place to grow up, raise a family, live, work, visit, play, all those things.
There's a couple of words I've really been that resonate a lot with me personally, and I think it's relevant to what you're sharing. There's and some might think it's a little too artistic speaking, but a beauty and a civility. That to me is what a city ought to reflect, and while still keeping its cultural heritage and its future intact or in sight. What's your thoughts on that? Beauty and civility.
Again, you've said it better than I can say it, but I'll try to give an example of what we're trying to do. The arts are important here in Dana Point. So talking about beauty, and so that's important to us here. We have sort of three distinct areas in our town, and one of them is Capistrano Beach. One of them is the harbor area, and one of them is the downtown area, town center, or the Lantern District. We also have, further north, Monarch Beach is another part of town as well. So maybe we could say 4 parts of town. But the reason I bring it up is, we're working hard on trying to connect all the areas of the city together. And, recently we have passed the Doheny Village Plan at the City Council level, and it's now before the Coastal Commission looking for final approval. And one of the things we're trying to do is revitalize the area of Doheny Village. And it really is a unique, eclectic area where you have some of the people that have been here for the decades that I was referring to. And there's a part of the town where the makers are, the people who make things, whether they're welding things or shaping surfboards, those types of things are going on down there and have been since the time of Hobie Alter when he was here. So what we're trying to do is maintain that part of town and maintain that heritage. So we're trying to bring the connectivity to the rest of the town. There's a post office in Capistrano Beach. We're working on putting a mural on that part of town to beautify, redo the landscaping, trying to make sure that the town has a real beauty to it. I was talking about the arts. We try to emphasize, we have concerts in the park where, we bring in, a lot of musicians. We also have had some, I guess we'll call it pop-up symphony performances over the summer. We really are trying to maintain that beauty and civility. I guess I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Ohana Music Festival that we had over the summer, which, we have had for, every year for the last several years. And, this year was headlined by Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam. So it is quite a great event here that draws people from really all over the world. And so we are trying to maintain the beauty and civility as you bring it up. And the civility part, obviously, I think that goes to the things we've already talked about, the people who live here. We all recognize this is a great place to live, a great place to raise your family, and interacting with your neighbors and being active in the community. When you bring those things together, you've got a recipe for a successful city.
Excellent. This is The Modern Architect, KZSU Stanford, 90.1 FM. We're talking today with Richard Viczorek, Council Member District 2 in Dana Point. For more information, feel free to visit their website at danapoint.org. Again, that's danapoint.org. Rick, if you could talk a bit about the Dana Point being a world-class destination, especially with the hotels and obviously the beauty. And some I've been told by people who've been around the world that this is one of the prettiest spots in the world.
I cannot disagree with you, and I will echo what you said. I've never spoken to anyone when I go travel other places and they ask, where are you from? And I say Dana Point. Everyone who has been here says, I love Dana Point. I've been there. It is one of the best places I've ever been to. And I mean, it's universal. I've never heard anyone say they've had a bad experience when they were here in Dana Point. And it truly is a world-class place. We are, as I mentioned, a beach town. We have several beaches to choose from if you do come here, all the way from Capistrano Beach. We have Doheny State Beach, which is made famous from the Beach Boys song "Surfing USA." We have a Baby Beach in the harbor for people who are younger with young families, and then we have the Strand and we have Salt Creek Beach. So we have a lot of great beaches that offer you the opportunity for beach activities and water activities and surfing, and we have a harbor with boating and paddle boarding, and so we have all the water sports, all the things that you can think of as a Southern California beach town. But we also have some of the finest hotels that you can imagine. We have the Ritz-Carlton here. We have now the Monarch Beach Resort has recently rebranded as a Waldorf Astoria. So that property was sold for nearly $500 million and rebranded into the Waldorf Astoria. And they have also put in millions of dollars of upgrades to that hotel as well. So there are places to stay here that are the finest in the world. And then we also have other hotels that are extremely nice as well, that might not be the Waldorf Astoria, but certainly are not bad places to stay and are more affordable. And we have certain hotels that are going in at the harbors being redone now, and there are 2 new hotels planned to go in there. There's a hotel that's being refurbished in Capistrano Beach, which is a seaside hotel for smaller type hotel that is more affordable. So it really does offer something for everyone, and we're proud of it being the world-class place that it is, and offering all the amenities and everything you could want to do on living here or on a vacation to Southern California.
Rick, before we close out our show, unfortunately, we'll carry on with another one, but what would you like to share with your audience today that we may not have touched on?
Well, I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk about Dana Point and let people know that we are continuing to move forward. I know that during the pandemic, we're not immune to the pandemic here. We were hit just like everyone else. But going back to the good governance, I think that we had put ourselves in such a position that we were in great financial shape to be able to weather the pandemic. And we also have such a great community here that is so supportive of our fellow residents and the businesses here that we actually, through the pandemic, we actually came out a net plus of 2 restaurants, which just shows that the type of people that live here and support the local businesses here, it really is amazing. So we do encourage people, come to Dana Point and see for yourself what kind of place this is to live, to work, to do business in, to invest in. It really there is no place, we think, that rivals it, at least here in California. And if I could put in a plug while I'm at it, if you are interested, we have a State of the City video that we posted on YouTube. So if you simply go to YouTube and search for Dana Point State of the City 2021, you'll be able to watch a short 10-minute video that really gives you a good flavor of what it's like here in Dana Point.
Outstanding. Rick, it's been a real honor and pleasure having you on the show. Thank you very much, really.
Tom, thank you for having me on and giving me the opportunity to talk about Dana Point. And it's always good to catch up with a fellow San Matan and fellow Fighting Knight.
That's right.
Hillsdale High School.
Here we go.
Go Knights.
That's true. Go Knights. You've been listening to The Modern Architect. I'm Tom Dior. Our guest today has been Richard Viczorek, Council Member District 2 in Dana Point, California. Rick was reelected to the City Council in 2018 and served his second term as mayor in 2020. He's also a graduate from UCLA with a degree in political science and a law degree from Santa Clara University. After several years as an attorney in private practice, Rick joined the United States Marine Corps and served 2 tours on active duty. For more information, feel free to visit the website of danapoint.org. Again, danapoint.org. Thanks for listening. Today's episode is made possible by Modeler, the rapidly growing community for AEC professionals to find and share design inspiration. Created and maintained by architects, join hundreds of thousands of other AEC professionals who are part of the Modeler community. Visit modeler.com and follow Modeler on your favorite social media channels for regular design inspiration.